Have you ever heard people say that in order to be happy in life, you have to live with your purpose? Do you know what that really means? I didn't, and so I had to do a lot of digging because I kind of wanted to have a systematic way of understanding what my purpose in life was and how to live it. Once I discovered that, I said, why don't I do a video to share my strategies with everyone who follows? So this is what the video will be about. I'll give you some strategies on how you can live with your purpose in a step-by-step, organized fashion. In every video I do, I share a fun fact at the beginning of the video and I share one at the end. So I want to share my fun fact with you, which is that I love experimenting with foods. I enjoy making different kinds of salads and soups by just throwing ingredients and spices together. And so I wanted to share that with you. Okay, so let's talk about the strategies. If somebody tells you that in order to be happy, you have to be able to live based on your values and beliefs, based on your purpose, they are right. Because I could tell you that when I'm doing things during the day that help me fulfill my values and like the goals and dreams that I have based on those values, I'm happier. I tend to wake up early in the morning wanting to get going with the day because everything I'm doing is helping me feel fulfilled. And that's what I want to share with you. Now you might ask, well, how do I know what my values and beliefs are? I discovered a couple of websites. I have one that's a really good one. It's called jamesclear.com, and I will have the link for you in the description box. On this site, I found 50 core values and beliefs. And it has some that are already listed that we just have to choose from. And our goal is to track it, like bring it down to about 10 at the most. Some of the ones include achievement, balance, challenge, friendship, faith. So we need to do everything during the day in order to be happy based on living with our purpose. So I'm going to give you some suggestions, and everything I'm going to give you is based on an article that I wrote, and it's on efficiencyandorganization.com. You will find on there I have a lot more than what I'm sharing here, and I go into the specifics, I give statistical information. I just try to keep the videos as short as I can. Usually I try to be right around the 10-minute mark, and so that's why I'm going to give you just a few, and I hope you find them very helpful. So strategy number one is to go on jamesclear.com core values and be able to see if you could find some of the 50 most common values that are, and then basically choose 10 of them that are most important to you. And if you happen to find other sites where you like them more, like the values and the beliefs that maybe they give you are hitting home a little bit more with you, please feel free to comment, come back to the video and comment, because the idea is for us all to learn from each other. And so basically our goal, the first strategy, is to try to narrow down to only 10 core values and beliefs. Number two, once we have our values, what we have to do is go through and track everything we are doing during the day. And this is easy to do because I have a form. It's on efficiencyandorganization.com, and I will have the link in the description box. Basically, it's a tracker. All you have to do is print 7 of them, one for each day of the week. Every 15 minutes, you write down on there what you are doing. At the end of the week, what you do is you try to take an average. So the day has 24 hours. Let's say you find that each of the 5 weekdays, you spend 45 minutes grooming. That could be brushing your hair, that could be putting on makeup, that could be anything that has to do with grooming, taking a shower. So that might be okay, that might be good. 45 minutes a day might not be such a bad thing, but what if you do an hour and 30 minutes? What if you do 2 hours? That's kind of a lot. In a 24-hour period, that's kind of a lot of time to put on grooming. But maybe for you, it's okay because it's in your value system. Maybe one of your values is beauty and hygiene and cleanliness, and so you like taking a shower 2-3 times a day because that speaks to you, that makes you feel good. Perfectly okay. But if that's not one of your core values, then we probably have to sit and reevaluate. What do we need to do to cut from that grooming time to actually focus that time on the things that are important to us, that we do value? Number 3, let's say you look at the list, you're still trying to like bring down, do everything that you're doing based on your values, and you're like, I still can't really narrow it down. I still have like maybe 20 on the list. You can think back about your childhood. The things that you like to do when you were a kid are reasons why you did them. For example, some kids, you give them a toy and their goal is just to dismantle it. They like to break things apart. Other kids, you give them a toy and their job is to see if they could put it in a neat order and like have, or maybe like they like Legos because they like to put things together. So see, those things that you did as a child will dictate what's going to make you happy as an adult. This takes time, you guys. Like for me, in order to figure out what makes me the most happiest, right? I had to really dig deep and think about what kinds of things I used to like. For example, I'll tell you, when I was younger, I loved going to school. I've always enjoyed school, which is why I'm in education. You know, right after I got my bachelor's degree, I went to work in the private sector, in the business world, and after about 5 years, I was like, no, I was unhappy. I wasn't feeling like I was living with my purpose, because my real true calling was education. I always liked being around schools, in schools. Other people detest the idea of schools. But see, that took a lot of time for me to figure out. It took months for me to figure out that that was like where I needed to be. Next strategy. What types of activities do your friends and role models do that inspire you? That's another thing you can look at. So why do you have the role models that you have? Is it because they're doing something, they're achieving something that you're looking up to? What is that value that they're living with that you want to also live with? So you should incorporate more of that. Like you have to kind of dig specifically. You can't say, for example, well, I like LeBron James. He's one of my role models. That's great, but most likely you don't want to play basketball. What is it specifically that you've seen in him that you want to emulate? There's got to be something. Is it because he's a go-getter? Is it because he's a hard worker? Can you try to do some of those things in your life, incorporate some of those values so that you could live with your purpose? Another strategy is to make a vision board. So what you want to do is write these things down, the top values that you have. But making a vision board, what it does is it helps us manifest what's happening in our heads into like the physical world. So you can either have like printed papers, or you can make one big board of your goals, your values, your beliefs, and that way you can keep reminding yourself what you are doing, and during the day what kind of activities you're involved in to be able to live with those core values. The next strategy has to do with having what you want to achieve. You have a vision on a vision board of your life, maybe 1, 2, 3, 5 years from now, right? Then you have to have the steps, step-by-step processes written down, and these are the SMART goals. So you have to say, number 1, I'm going to finish 2 years of schooling because that will help me get a promotion to go to the next level of my job, for example. Or I'm in the wrong field and this is what I need to do to get what I need to move to the job that I really want, that really does speak to me. Once you have those SMART goals figured out, like the actions, like as precisely as possible, the next step is gonna be to monitor carefully. So here's what I mean. A lot of people make goals, but they don't really follow through with them. I think my last research indicated that only about 14-15% of people follow through with their goals. They set them, but they don't follow through. Why? Because of a couple of reasons. And reason number 1 is that the goals are not specific enough, they're not actionable, and number 2, because they don't have a way to monitor. So like they start off well and then they fall off the track. So in order to do that, what you want to do is have these things in print form and have them places around the house, around your place of work, where you can see all the time and remind yourself all the time what actions you're taking on a daily basis to get to your main goals. So as you can see, this is a topic that people have written books about. It's kind of big and I can't really cover it in a time period that I have with you. But reading the article, going through it a couple of times will help. It's kind of condensed. Reading books on this, on how to live with purpose, how to find your values, your goals, and just being reflective will help you get there in a systematic, organized, efficient manner. And so these are the things I talk about on my website. I have 6 focused areas. When you get a chance, please check them out because I'm sure you will find something useful, something that'll help you in one of the areas that fits you best. While you're on the website, please feel free to subscribe. That way you could get my once a month resource guide. And I'd love it if you could subscribe to this channel because every Saturday at 6 o'clock, I release a new video and it's always something helpful, something that talks about a systematic way of achieving more in life. And my last fun fact before I end is that I have a tendency when I'm focused to go like this a lot, to frown a lot. And I don't want to do that, but I just naturally do it. And a lot of times people think that I'm mad. And so even on the videos, they would say, oh, you know, I saw your video, but you looked mad. I'm not mad. I'm just focused. Every time I focus, I have a tendency to. I appreciate you being with me, and I will catch you in the next video.